What mistakes did you make early in your investing career that you want to warn new investors of? I feel like all of the podcasts and blogs about real estate investing always highlight the lucky investors who turned $5,000 into $5 mil with no bumps in the road. This always makes it seem like real estate is easier than it is. What are some stories of investing mistakes, failures that you want new investors like myself to be wary of? I hired a property manager to handle my first rental house. I very naively assumed that an experienced pro would be worth every penny. What I didn't know was that many property managers are just as shady as the worst tenant. Buying shit properties that were cheap. Never trust anyone who tells you they want to partner with you unless they share risk with you. Appreciation is a fickle beast. Cash flow is king. I should have bought more. I wish I paid for extra inspections on an older home and had negotiated a lower purchase price point. We sold our newer build single-family home and moved into an older duplex. It's been difficult to adjust to the maintenance needs. Don't sweat pennies when dollars are involved. I didn't unload all my dry powder back in 2010 to 2015. So I ended up buying at much higher prices in 2016 to 2020. In hindsight, everything worked out, but would have worked out better if I just unloaded everything 12 years ago. Bad tenants. Taking anything less than a 650 credit score is a gamble. Where I am, the gangbangers use their girlfriends to rent apartments. Sometimes they are the baby daddies, but they stay off the lease. GF has good credit, a job, etc. So you think you've found a decent tenant. Next thing you know, it's the Latin Kings HQ. I thought I had purchased the deal of a lifetime. 26. Spent everything I had saved. $28,000. Signed all the paperwork. Got the keys. I know. Cheap. But this was 1976. Decided to drive over the next morning to let the GC in. All I can see is a huge CondemnMed sign. The city raised my first investment 2 days later. Don't invest in relationships, invest in yourself. 1. It's not that easy. It takes money to make money. The most painful experience I learned. But in the long run, it does generate a lot of money. Just the initial start is the hardest. Put 20 down just to avoid PMI, and because it was what conventional wisdom suggested I do by older generations. Unnecessary to do so. With a bit more research, I might have spared myself like $30,000 or so that could have been better utilized elsewhere. The biggest mistake everyone makes is starting late and being too safe. Be aggressive and go big. Even a small investment in your 20s is huge in your 50s. Make sure you understand the complete property tax and all municipal charges. Consider the assessment value and if it could be challenged. And also discount the rental prospect by 50. Don't listen to Jimmy Shill on CNBC or Motley Fool. The way to do it from experience. And from knowing people who have 8 figures in real estate investing is holding 20-30 years. Running negative for 8-18 years. Paying the difference, not listen to other people saying, telling when to sell and to take the stress. Stress comes with making money in the long run. Do not put your entire life savings into Beanie Babies. Trusting realtors. My PM ran off my tenant, and I found afterwards that they would make me and my tenant pay for certain things. So they tried to double dip. Also, they would say that a repair has been complete, and I would drive by and find out no one did anything. I hate PMs so much. Have a slush fund for when something costs more than you think it will. Because it will. Don't be greedy. Take the profit. Don't haggle over a few thousand and lose the sale. And just get on to the next one ASAP. Don't spread yourself too thin. If you are using loans, you will be at the whim of interest rates at some point and it will finish you. Listen to investing advice from other investors. Should have bought more properties. 5 years ago when I started investing, almost every was cash flowing. I set my cash flow targets too high and missed out on some amazing deals. Not taking greater risks. Not getting in when I thought it was a good idea but hesitated because what if I am wrong? Not asking for help because I was headstrong and had to do it on my own. Don't go into partnership with anyone else, even or maybe especially family. I've seen so many end badly. How do you turn 5K into 5M? Don't underestimate the upfront costs. They add up quick. But that said, I like RE better compared to dividend stocks when it comes to cash flow games. RE maintains its value better than dividend stocks. Don't forget about the Forex leverage as well. Trying to be passive and not pushing value add. Left a lot in the table and the value add will eventually become capex down the road. Missed some price swings and rent increases because of it. I wouldn't listen exclusively to Jim Cramer lol. Spend more time finding the right agent. I chose the first referral I got from the lender and he ended up finding me a good house. But failed to notice a lot of things that needed fixing. Definitely recommend spending time to get a good agent as it will probably save you money. Brokers and investment advisors were actually salesmen. Not criminal. But definitely had an agenda to steer to certain investments. Usually one that had some association with trusting too much in my property manager. Got me an awful tenant and he quit. He left behind a huge mess. We ended up evicting the tenant. Took a cold call from a FA. All he ever did was lose me money. Get a cost segregation study on properties when you buy them if you plan to do a lot of renovations or value add projects. A lot of people think this just for like $100 million properties, but that's not the case and you can get some great tax benefits. You'll love other houses. Don't let sentimentality get in way of making a killer profit on either a primary home, vacation home, or a nice investment property. Real estate is cycles. Don't buy at the top of a cycle like right now. Do analytics with your real estate to see what rentals go for in your area and always cash flow. Stay away from they represent the sellers, even though they require you to use one of their realtors as a buyer. Both times we've used them, we've ended up either in litigation or with sloppy title work that left us with huge water bills from the last owner. As a new investor, do not work with these people because they will not protect you and they will take away all of your ability to protect yourself. I started amazing but was super doubtful of every step. It took some time to start making real mistakes overpaying. I had absolutely no home improvement ability whatsoever. I got the inspection, kind of Googled some of the bigger results, and went on my way. That first year I probably came out of pocket $50,000 on stuff that an experienced investor would have caught but that I had absolutely no clue on. Always have cash reserves for emergencies. My tenant just moved out and I haven't updated the house in 5 years. I did offer, but the tenant declined every time. Now after 5 years, there are a lot of wear and tear I need to fix before renting out, which if I didn't have my reserves would be difficult. Although I generally reinvest my cash. The cash reserves I would keep in a HYSA to generate some yield so it's not completely useless. When buying an older property, pay the plumber to run a videoscope of the main sewer line during the inspection. Trust me,